The franchise tag window is officially open, and that immediately puts the New England Patriots in a fascinating position. This is the time of year when front offices show their true priorities. Tags are not just paperwork, they are statements. And when you look at the Patriots pending unrestricted free agents, the big question is simple. Is there anyone on this roster worth locking in at that kind of price? Let's start with the realistic candidates that have been circulating internally: Calavon chasing Tonga and Jalen Hawkins. All three had roles. All three contributed. And yes, all three would be welcome back in Foxborough under the right circumstances. But the franchise tag isn't about sentiment, it's about value versus cost. If the Patriots were to franchise tag Calavon Chasen, the number would likely land around $27 million. Tonga would command roughly $26 million. Jalen Hawkins would come in just under $21 million. Now stop there for a second and really process that. Those figures would instantly make them among the highest paid players on the roster in average annual value. In fact, tagging Chasen or Tonga would put them above Milton Williams, who makes $26 million per year. That's not a small decision. That's a franchise-defining allocation of resources. Chasen has value, but at $27 million, that's elite edge rusher money. Tonga is a solid rotational defensive tackle, but $26 million would be starter plus money at the top of the market. And Jalen Hawkins, as good as he was in 2025, would suddenly be paid like a premier safety in the league at just under $21 million. That's the kind of number that can reshape your cap structure overnight. The Patriots currently have around $40 to $42 million in cap space, depending on minor adjustments that are expected. Committing over half of that to one player via the tag would dramatically limit flexibility, especially with free agency just weeks away. And this is an offseason where New England has options. There will be multiple free agents hitting the market in March who could potentially provide similar or even better production at a lower annual cost. The smarter play here feels clear. If you want Chasen back, negotiate an extension that reflects his actual production. If you value Tonga's role inside, bring him back at a number closer to $5 or $6 million annually. And with Hawkins, perhaps there's room for a team-friendly deal around $10 million per year, especially if he values continuity and the system he thrived in, but the tag that feels excessive across the board. And this leads directly into the broader free agency discussion, because ESPN's Jeremy Fowler recently highlighted two top 50 free agent fits for New England that are turning heads. The first name, Chig Okonkwo. The tight end position is quietly one of the most interesting storylines on this roster. Hunter Henry is entering the final year of his deal and has been mentioned as a possible cap casualty. Austin Hooper is a free agent. That leaves room for reinforcements, especially if the Patriots want to lean into more 12 personnel sets. Okonkwo caught 56 passes for 560 yards and 2 touchdowns last season with the Tennessee Titans. He's not in the same tier as a generational mismatch weapon, but he is consistent. Around 50 catches in multiple seasons, reliable hands, only 3 drops in 2025, versatile enough to be schemed into screens and crossers. In a Josh McDaniels offense, that versatility matters. Pairing Okonkwo with Hunter Henry could create matchup flexibility. 2 solid tight ends on the field together can stress linebackers and safeties. And for a developing quarterback like Drake Maye, having dependable options over the middle is critical. The tight end is often the security blanket. Okonkwo has proven he can be that. Still, it comes down to cost and ceiling. Is he an upgrade? Is he a long-term solution? Or is he simply steady? Those are the questions the Patriots must weigh. Then there's the safety position, where Kobe Bryant of the Seattle Seahawks has been identified as a strong fit. Bryant is coming off his rookie contract and had 4 interceptions last season. He's versatile, capable of playing deep post or in split field looks. He's aggressive downhill and active in run support. But here's the catch. His projected market value is around $14.3 million per year. That's significant, especially when you compare his production to Jalen Hawkins. Statistically, they are remarkably similar. Similar tackle numbers, similar pass breakups, similar interceptions. The big difference, age and market momentum. So now the Patriots face another crossroads. Do you pay Bryant $14 million annually and potentially weaken your ability to pursue bigger targets? Or do you prioritize retaining Hawkins at a lower figure and preserve flexibility? And speaking of bigger targets, the Max Crosby conversation refuses to die down. The rumors continue gaining traction. Reports suggest multiple teams, including the Patriots, have explored the possibility of a trade. Crosby's familiarity with Mike Vrabel and Josh McDaniels only adds fuel to the fire. A proposed framework circulating includes sending Christian Barmore, the 31st overall pick, and the 63rd overall pick in exchange for Crosby. That's a substantial haul. Barmore is talented. 2 premium draft picks are not insignificant assets, but Crosby is a game-changing edge presence, the kind of player New England desperately lacked during stretches of the 2025 season. If you can resign Q's Tonga at a manageable number and maintain Milton Williams inside, replacing Barmore becomes more feasible, and if Crosby truly elevates your pass rush to a different tier, that changes the entire defensive identity overnight. So here we are. The franchise tag window is open. Free agency is less than 3 weeks away. Trade rumors are intensifying. The Patriots have cap space, draft capital, and major decisions looming. Do you stay conservative and build steadily? Do you make a bold move for a generational pass rusher? Do you prioritize internal retention over external upgrades? Because this offseason isn't just about transactions, it's about direction. And the direction the Patriots choose now will define what 2026 looks like. So let me ask you this. If you're running the front office today, are you tagging anyone, pursuing Kobe Bryant, or pushing all your chips in for Max Crosby? And this is where everything becomes even more complicated. Because when you zoom out and look at the full picture, this isn't just about one player, one contract, or one rumor. This is about the identity the Patriots are trying to build around Drake Maye, around Mike Vrabel, and around a defense that clearly needs a true difference maker off the edge. Let's go back to Max Crosby, because this situation feels different from the typical offseason rumor cycle. This isn't just random speculation with no foundation. There are real connections here. Crosby knows Josh McDaniels from their time together in Las Vegas. He understands the type of system, the type of culture, and the expectations. That familiarity matters. Players don't walk into new buildings blindly. They look for situations where they know they can succeed immediately, and the Patriots represent that kind of environment. There's also the Mike Vrabel factor. Vrabel has built his reputation on defense, toughness, and accountability. Crosby fits that mold perfectly. He's relentless. He plays with intensity every single snap. He's exactly the type of player who can set the tone, not just on Sundays, but inside the locker room, Monday through Saturday. According to league discussions, there's a belief that Crosby would have at least some level of interest in playing under Vrabel. That alone changes the equation, because acquiring a player who actually wants to be part of your system is very different from forcing a move that lacks long-term commitment. Now, let's talk about what Crosby would actually bring to this defense. In 2025, one of the Patriots' biggest weaknesses was their inability to consistently pressure opposing quarterbacks. There were flashes. Yes, there were moments when the defense held strong, but when you watched the biggest games, when you watched the elite offenses, you could see the difference. The Patriots didn't have that one edge rusher offenses had to game plan around every single snap. Max Crosby is that player. He changes protection schemes, he forces quarterbacks to move off their spot, he creates opportunities for everyone else on the defensive line. Suddenly, Milton Williams becomes even more dangerous inside because offenses can't double everyone. Suddenly, rotational players become more effective because Crosby draws the attention. That's how elite pass rushers transform defenses, not just through their own production, but through the ripple effect they create. And yes, the cost is significant. Giving up Christian Barmore would not be easy. He's young, talented, and has been part of the Patriots' defensive core. Trading the 31st overall pick and the 63rd overall pick also means sacrificing future assets. Those are valuable opportunities to add young, affordable talent. But draft picks are projections. Crosby is proven reality. That's the gamble front offices wrestle with every offseason. Do you hold on to potential, or do you invest in certainty? And while all of this is happening on the defensive side, the Patriots also have to think about offensive stability. Adding players like Chigo Okonkwo could give Drake Maye another reliable option. Keeping continuity with players like Jalen Hawkins could preserve chemistry on defense. Every move is connected. Every dollar spent impacts another decision. This is why the franchise tag becomes even more important in context. Using the tag on Chasen, Tonga, or Hawkins would restrict flexibility at the exact moment when flexibility might be needed most. If your ultimate goal is to pursue a transformational player like Crosby, you need room to operate. You need financial maneuverability. You need to avoid locking yourself into inflated one-year deals that don't align with long-term strategy. And there's another layer here that fans shouldn't ignore: the psychological signal. A move like this would send trading for Max Crosby would send a message to the locker room that the Patriots are serious about competing. It would send a message to free agents that New England is no longer in passive rebuilding mode. It would send a message to the entire league that this franchise is actively building around its new core. For Drake Maye, that matters. Young quarterbacks benefit when the team around them is aggressive, when the organization shows belief in the future. A stronger defense creates more favorable game situations, more stops, better field position, less pressure on the offense to be perfect. And suddenly, the Patriots don't just look like a developing team, they look like a dangerous one. But nothing is guaranteed. Rumors don't always become reality. Trades require agreement from both sides. Contracts must be negotiated. Cap space must be managed carefully. The Patriots have options, but they also have risks. One wrong move can limit progress. One right move can accelerate everything. This is one of the most important off-seasons in recent Patriots history. The decisions made now will shape the roster, the identity, and the trajectory of this team moving forward. And the Max Crosby situation could be the move that defines it all. So now, I want to hear from you. Do you believe trading Christian Barmore and multiple draft picks for Max Crosby is worth it to transform this defense immediately? Or would you rather keep those assets and build through free agency and the draft? And the timing of all of this could not be more critical, because the Patriots are now less than 3 weeks away from free agency, and decisions made in the next few days will directly determine how aggressive they can actually be. This is where roster management becomes a chess match. Every contract you don't give is just as important as every contract you do give. If New England avoids using the franchise tag on players like Caleb and Chasen, Q's Tonga, and Jalen Hawkins, they preserve flexibility. That flexibility could allow them to restructure deals, create additional cap space beyond the current $40 to $42 million range, and position themselves to absorb a major contract like Max Crosby's. But if they commit too much money internally, suddenly that window closes. Suddenly, the Crosby opportunity becomes harder to execute. And internally, the Patriots already have some key decisions waiting. Jalen Hawkins, for example, had a breakout season in 2025. His production, his reliability, and his overall performance made him one of the most consistent players in the secondary. His numbers were nearly identical to Kobe Bryant's, and in some grading metrics, Hawkins was actually better. So now the Patriots must decide, do you reward Hawkins and keep continuity in your defense? Or do you let him walk and spend more money on a younger external option like Bryant, whose market value sits around $14.3 million per year? Because if you can retain Hawkins closer to $10 million annually, that's value. That's efficiency. That's the kind of smart roster building that allows you to pursue elite talent elsewhere. Then there's the tight end situation, which quietly plays a huge role in Drake Maye's development. Hunter Henry is entering the final year of his contract and could be a cap casualty. Austin Hooper is already a free agent. That leaves a potential opening for someone like Chigo Okonkwo, who has proven to be consistent, durable, and versatile. His 56 catches for 560 yards last season show he can be a reliable option, especially in a Josh McDaniels offense that values tight end production. And that's the key. Everything comes back to building the right environment around Drake Maye. Young quarterbacks need support. They need reliable targets. They need defenses that can give them favorable field position. They need organizations that are actively investing in winning now, not just waiting for the future. That's why the Max Crosby situation feels so important, because Crosby isn't just another addition, he's a signal. He's a declaration that the Patriots are done waiting.